I'm interested in storytelling rather than the package through which we put the storytelling. I think stories are being told all the time.
Yeah. Do you know what my question is, Bongani, is that, so much like business, right now if you were going to start a business, it would have to be something innovative, you know? It would have to be something that has not been done before. So what I'm asking is, are we allowing tweets to dictate what we put out? What are we putting out new things that are not on Twitter? The reason why print media is suffering at the moment is because people are reading the news on Twitter before they read it in the newspaper, so there's no need to buy newspapers. So what I'm saying is there innovation? Are we innovative enough?
Listen, I wish, I hear you. Yeah, I do. I'm interested in storytelling. I'm interested in, say, for example, how we use the city buses. I'm just giving you an example. Or the Shell and the bus stops to tell stories. I wish, my biggest dream is to have my chapters in the book. And
it's a very big book.
It's a huge, it's a doorstep. Extracted and maybe use 7 paragraphs on the backside of a bus, a moving bus, every day. In fact, I'd like to speak to the chappies, did you know, manufacturers, to extract the stories that I write for the coming 20, 30 years out of that book. Yes, we should use technology in ways that can tell our stories. I truly don't think, I think there's a market for everything. I think South Africans tend to say either this or that, black or white, old media or new media. I think there's a space for everything. I truly don't think Twitter has replaced serious critical inquiry. Just like the MP3 didn't necessarily kill the vinyl LP or the CD. New media is very important, but there's always space for old media. I think we need to find ways through which we can tell our stories that we truly believe in the most beautiful way, like Justice has said, in the most beautiful way, in ways that we don't shy away or personalize critique of our work and make it, like personal. We should just tell good stories in whichever media. Kanye West always has these meltdowns. I'd love to have an entire meltdown for 3 weeks, whereby I extract portions of my book, and that's a meltdown. But I still want people to go into the bookstore, buy a bit of coffee, or if they're in a village where I get stories from, or in the townships, they can cook a bit of rooibos, let it boil a bit, and sit down with the book, smell the book, and get to read and make little notes on the sides.
I think you and I are agreeing.
We could.
Just in different ways.
Yeah, okay.
But we're running out of time, and by a show of hands, are there questions? So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can only see your glasses, gentlemen at the back. I'm assuming you're a gentleman. Yes, okay, I can see you. So I'm going to start with Mahlape. Let's see where time takes us. You want to take 1, 2, 3, 4?
Have friends that you can ask questions.
They're not friends. They only met last week.
Thank you.
There's a mic, but I can project.
Yeah, there's a mic.
Oh, it's coming. Thank you.
Hi. I just wanted to ask, you guys write non-fiction and you spend a lot of time observing people and giving your own opinions. And I think I want to know, this is maybe, not as important because other people are going to ask, what is the most violent reaction or the most surprising reaction you've ever received from someone to your writing?
Because of the time constraints, I'm going to ask that you direct a question to a person.
I will ask Justice.
Okay.
You should have Justice.
Speaking of violent reactions.
I did a book in 1997, and this is Saul's book. A friend of us ran a wing of a publishing house, and and he talked about accessibility of books, and the idea at the time was that, we were going to educate the masses, and so, this guy says, write me books, and so, people like me, we sit and we write a book quickly, and it comes out. So the most violent thing was that no one bought that book. I still sit and think, what an amazing book. And not a single one. I tell you, the Roslin branch of BMW, when they made BMW cars, they bought 8 copies for their workers and put them in the lab. Those were the only copies of
Very sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry.
But this is a bestseller, isn't it? How many copies have you sold of this one?
Oh, I don't know, a lot.
Over 4,000.
Over
second print run.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, 20,000.
Okay.
Wow.
But the point I want to make is books have to be read. And for me, that book was translated into 6 languages. So that's at my mother's house, you go to my mother's house, you find, before the rains come, African, Sepedi, Zulu, Setswana, all of them, and not a single one of them bought by anyone. It even won a prize, 8 copies sold. That happened again to me.
I'm going to allow...
Is there another session of this? Here.
I just don't want the open book people to never let me
let's be free. I feel that
Mervyn, can we go over time?
Yeah. Hey,
Mervin's going to keep it.
it's a Wednesday
5
night.
minutes.
10 minutes and then we continue the conversation next door.
Okay, all right.
Mine is not so much a question. Maybe Justice doesn't have to answer this since he's already sold 40,000 copies. But I was going to
He
say,
must just share his royalties. I mean, the gold.
we're in a panel with writers, and I think that, some people know all 3, some people know some, and I think I would like to hear some reading from the writers, from their work. For those of us who, I have copies of all 3, but for the other people who don't have copies of all 3, who may, to further entice them, perhaps, to buy copies of the one writer on the panel whose books they don't already have.
Okay. So I think we'll take the 2 questions, and then we'll let you guys read. Luckily, I've got a copy of your book here, Justice. You're looking very distressed. So third hand came... from the gentleman here in the front.
Yes, so where I live, everyone under 30, nobody is reading a newspaper, nobody's reading a book, everyone is obsessed with their smartphones. So I was wondering what any of the panelists think could be done to inspire young people to really, have that lose their virginity with a novel and become totally engrossed in it and really discover reading.
Yolisa, I'm going to let you take this one for the young ones.
Thank you. You didn't say where you live, but I'm sure it's a very similar experience here. I think the thing is you can't fight change because you will be left behind. There is this narrative that print is a dying industry, it's a dying medium, and I think that is true in a way, but I also think maybe it's not that it's dying, it didn't have any competition before. I used to buy like 3 or 4 newspapers on a Sunday, and that's me consuming the news. I don't need to do that because if I'm up at 2 a.m. and something breaks, it's on my phone in AP. I do not need to wait until the morning. Therefore, there's that competition that never existed before, and you either adapt to that competition or you get left behind. And I think it is the same thing. People will always read. Yes, Twitter is very interesting, and it's good for consuming things quickly, but I think books are about a narrative. They're about a story carrying you along from beginning to end, and people maybe still consume the story, but when they're doing it on their tablet, they're doing it as an e-book versus a paper. I much prefer the paper because I'm old school like that. So I think it's about things evolving, not necessarily dying. As long as people are still reading books, I'm not mad about what medium they do it on. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gentlemen, right at the back, whose glasses are the only thing I can see.
Justice, I see you on Friday nights on Zone News, and I read your column in the Times on Monday morning. Do you think that what you do in Zone News and in the Times newspaper would have any impression on how this country is going?
Thank you very much for that. I have absolutely no involvement in Zionist. Zionist is a satirical show, so they're making fun of me, they're poking fun at me. And my kids are quite distressed by it. Papa, what are you doing? What's this? My friends are laughing at me. So it's a thing there. But you know, it's an open democracy, it's a free country, so, you know, I wish them luck, and I hope they keep strong in this tough world. So, do I think what I write in the Times makes a difference? You know, I think it does. I think that's why I write it. I believe it does. I believe, like most people who write, believe that, you know, someone reads it somewhere and says, yeah, you're saying something. I get a lot of very strong reactions to my columns in the Times. Some of them positive, many negative, and that's okay. You know, for me, you have to have all sorts of people writing. You have to have people who are loved and lauded by the community. You have to have people who are sometimes reviled, sometimes loved, depending on the swing of things. So I don't worry myself too much about whether it's making an impact. I write it, and if it's true for me, I hope it's true for other people.
I'm going to allow one more question from the gentleman over there, but in the meantime, I want you guys to pick a page from where you're going to read. I can't say a few pages because imagine a few pages from this one. So, do you each have a copy of your own books?
No. Yes. Oh.
Look at me being a good Oprah.
Okay.
Can read? You wanted to?
I wanted to pass on the reading.
Okay. Well, if you're not comfortable, you don't have to do it. By a show of hands, how many people want to reading? My maths is failing me. I was trying to work on ratios and stuff. Okay, so Justice doesn't have to read if he doesn't want to, but I'll allow Yolisa and Bongani to read. One more question.
Hi, my name is Thabiso. My question is directed at Justice. I also read some of your columns and watch your very good show on e-news. I must say, you tend to get like really interesting people on there. But I just want to know.
So it's not me, thanks.
My question is like, through your various mediums, whether it's print or on TV, what is the key, I suppose, narrative or message that you want to get out there? I know you say as long as it's true for you, it's cool, but like, I mean, look, there's 55 odd million South Africans watching your programs, few million reading your newspaper columns, etc. So those platforms are very influential. And for you to say, if it's true for you, then it's okay. I think it's great and it's quite noble, but you do have a very big influence on a lot of people out there. What is the key message, like, that you are trying to put out there in a nutshell? And now you just wrote a book. What is the one thing that you want me to take out of it after reading it?
Pour him some wine.
Honestly, you know, I think when we started off, I spoke about the influences on me, and I think it's worth saying there is I question a lot of what I do. I question a lot of what I say and write, because I start thinking, well, what, you know, are you out of touch with the rest of society? But my values, I was very keen on hearing what Bongani had to say about you know, his value system and how that came about. And my values are very, I write about them in the book, about where I come from and what kind of influences were in me. And for many people who grew up like me, that the central influencer politically was the UDF and the ANC. That's what, you know, what I drank from. So a large chunk of of the people who are the loser of the week on my show would be people who are, you know, are not faithful to the ideal of a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic South Africa. So that I don't have some people might say, oh, you know, you're pushing that line. I don't particularly, it's just who I am, and by dint of how I got to certain places, that's the message that comes through. But I'd like to have a bigger, higher ideal, but I don't think I do actually. It's just who I am in my life and the things that I produce. I'm sorry.
Before we get into the reading, Justice, do you fly a lot?
Yeah. But between Cape Town and Joburg and Durban. Yeah.
So that's how your title was inspired. I was holding a book in the flight, and then the pilot said, or the thing, whoever the recorded thing says, we have begun our descent, and I was like, how clever of you! Anyway, I'm going to allow the reading now, and after the read, the books will be out on sale. You guys know where the books are sold by now, so both